What if the next 5 days could change everything? Not through miracles or luck, but by awakening a force within you that's long been dormant. It might sound like a dream, but it begins with a single decision: to live with intention. We often find ourselves caught in an endless loop: wake up, work, sleep, repeat, trapped in routines that drain our spirit and numb our sense of purpose. And yet, there's a quiet voice inside that says, there's more than this. The most profound transformations don't require years of waiting or radical upheaval. They begin with small, consistent steps. Just like a single pebble can send ripples across an entire lake, a few mindful choices can echo through every area of your life. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Over 2,000 years ago, they taught that true power isn't found in controlling the world, but in mastering the self. Their wisdom still speaks to us today. Freedom comes through discipline, peace through clarity, strength through inner order. This guide brings you the first set of habits inspired by that timeless philosophy, practices that, when applied over just 5 days, can unlock a profound inner transformation. They require no special tools, no external change, only your presence and willingness to act with purpose. 1. Begin your day in complete silence. Most people surrender their attention the moment consciousness returns, reaching for their phone to check messages, social media, or emails before they've even fully awakened. In doing so, they hand their mental sovereignty to the outside world before claiming it for themselves. The Stoics understood that true freedom begins with mastering your attention. People seek retreats for themselves in the countryside, by the seashore, in the hills. But this is altogether unphilosophical when it is possible for you to retreat into yourself at any time you want. For the next 5 mornings, practice this inner retreat. Upon waking, remain still. Don't check your devices. Don't turn on any screens. Give yourself 5 sacred minutes of complete silence. Feel your breath flowing naturally. Notice your body awakening. Observe your thoughts with detachment, seeing them as passing events rather than absolute truths. This silent space becomes your mental sanctuary, a private domain where you reconnect with your rational faculties before external demands begin. The Stoics believed that this kind of morning solitude prepares the mind for virtuous action throughout the day. By starting in silence, you establish yourself as the gatekeeper of your attention rather than its servant. Consider enhancing this practice by asking yourself, what aspects of today are within my control and what aspects are not? This fundamental Stoic distinction will help you direct your energy wisely from the day's first moments. 2. Breathe like a calm warrior. Your breath is your most reliable anchor to the present moment. It's eternally available, requiring no equipment or special circumstances. When external events threaten your equilibrium, conscious breathing can restore your center. The ancient Stoics, many of whom faced extreme adversity, including exile, imprisonment, and death threats, emphasized maintaining composure under pressure. Epictetus taught that self-mastery begins with controlling what is fully yours, your breath being the most immediate tool. Practice this. While still lying in bed, place one hand on your abdomen. Inhale slowly through your nose to a count of 4, feeling your belly expand. Hold briefly. Then exhale gently through your mouth to a count of 6, longer than your inhale. Let your body soften with each exhale. Complete 10 cycles, remaining fully present with each breath. This isn't merely a morning ritual. It's spiritual training for life's battlefields. The Stoics viewed each challenge as an opportunity to exercise virtue, and proper breathing creates the mental space needed for rational choice rather than emotional reaction. When difficulties arise later in the day, this breathing pattern will ground you in stoic equanimity, responding with clarity rather than reacting with impulsivity. Seneca noted that the soul should not be kept continuously at the same tension, but given some relaxation. And this breathing practice offers precisely that balance, alert awareness coupled with deep relaxation. 3. Read a fragment of Stoic wisdom. Just as your body requires nourishment, your mind needs philosophical sustenance. The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your actions, emotional responses, and ultimately, your character. The Stoics were prolific writers who left us a treasure of practical wisdom. Spend 5 deliberate minutes each morning reading from Stoic texts, whether Marcus Aurelius's personal reflections, Epictetus's direct instructions, or Seneca's insightful letters. These writings contain timeless truths about human nature and the cultivation of inner tranquility. Don't merely accumulate information, digest it thoroughly. Choose a single insight that resonates deeply. Ask yourself, how can I embody this teaching today? The Stoics insisted that philosophy must be practiced, not merely discussed. Musonius Rufus stated that we should not merely acquire theoretical knowledge, but also practical training. This daily philosophical reflection transforms abstract principles into concrete actions. It bridges the gap between knowing and doing, the essential Stoic commitment to practical wisdom rather than intellectual posturing. Consider keeping a small journal where you record the passage and your intended application. This creates accountability and allows you to track your progress in living philosophically. 4. Define a clear intention for the day. Living without direction is like navigating without coordinates. We drift through our hours, reacting to whatever demands our attention, without clarity or purpose. The Stoics emphasize the importance of intentional living. How many people allow life to slip away as if it were something superfluous? Each day offers a fresh opportunity to practice virtue, the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. For 5 consecutive mornings before leaving your bed, ask yourself, what is my intention today? Not in terms of tasks to complete, but in terms of the person you wish to be. Perhaps your intention is to practice patience when provoked. Maybe it's to give undivided attention to each conversation. It could be to maintain perspective when facing setbacks. This daily intention becomes your North Star. When distractions inevitably arise, you'll have a clear reference point to reorient yourself. The Stoics believed that living according to nature meant living according to reason and virtue. Your daily intention aligns your actions with these higher principles. Document your intention each morning, then briefly evaluate your adherence each evening. This creates a feedback loop for continuous improvement, what the Stoics called prokop, or moral progress. 5. Let go of the outcome. Since childhood, we've been conditioned to focus on results, grades, wins, achievements, recognition. Our society celebrates outcomes while often ignoring the process. But this fixation creates suffering when results don't match our expectations. The Stoics identified this as a fundamental error in thinking. Epictetus taught, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." They recognized that outcomes depend on countless factors beyond our control. Over these 5 days, commit to something meaningful, a work project, a conversation, a creative endeavor, and focus entirely on your effort and intention, regardless of the result. Find satisfaction in bringing your best to the process, rather than attaching your worth to external validation. This isn't resignation, it's liberation. By focusing on what you control, your choices, attitudes, and actions, rather than what you don't, other people's responses, external circumstances, you reclaim your power. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you release attachment to specific outcomes, you paradoxically become more effective. Free from anxiety about results, you can give your full attention to the present moment, exactly where your power resides. 6. Do one difficult thing on purpose. Modern life is engineered for convenience and comfort. Everything from food delivery apps to entertainment streaming services aims to remove friction from our experience. But comfort doesn't build character or resilience. The Stoics deliberately practiced voluntary discomfort. Seneca, despite his wealth, regularly engaged in practices like sleeping on a hard mattress and eating simple food. Why? He understood that hardship preparation prevents future suffering. If you would not have a man flinch when the crisis comes, train him before it comes. For 5 consecutive days, challenge yourself deliberately. Take a cold shower instead of a hot one. Skip a meal. Walk instead of driving for short trips. Wake earlier than necessary. Have that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. The purpose isn't self-punishment but self-mastery. Each voluntary discomfort sends a powerful message to your subconscious. I am not governed by comfort-seeking or habit. I choose growth over ease when it serves my development. This practice builds psychological flexibility, the ability to maintain equilibrium regardless of circumstances. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes not from controlling external events but from developing inner strength. Voluntary discomfort is the training ground where this strength is forged. Remember that these 6 practices are not about becoming someone new. They're about uncovering the wisdom and resilience that have always been within you. Over 5 days, each habit will gradually strip away layers of reactivity, distraction, and attachment, revealing the clarity and tranquility that the Stoics recognized as our natural state. 7. Be fully present in the ordinary. The Stoic philosophers understood that virtue doesn't require grand stages or dramatic circumstances. True wisdom manifests in how we approach everyday existence. As Stoicism teaches, the present moment is our only true possession, and how we inhabit it determines the quality of our life. You don't need a retreat or a mountaintop to live mindfully. Life continuously offers sacred moments that require only your attention to transform the mundane into the profound. The Stoics emphasize that wisdom comes not from escaping ordinary life, but from engaging with it fully. For 5 days, select a basic task you perform routinely, brushing your teeth, preparing food, walking to the store, and elevate it into a meditation practice. Feel the water against your skin. Distinguish the subtle sounds around you. Identify the various scents that might normally go unnoticed. Taste the fullness of each moment as it unfolds. When your mind inevitably wanders, as the Stoics acknowledged is human nature, gently guide it back to the present without judgment. Remember, the goal isn't perfect concentration, but rather cultivating a compassionate awareness. The Stoic practice of prosoche, focused attention, teaches that by developing this awareness, ordinary moments transform into gateways to extraordinary presence and self-knowledge. 8. Release what no longer serves you. The Stoic principle of non-attachment resonates deeply with this practice. We accumulate possessions, obligations, relationships, and beliefs that gradually become burdens without our conscious recognition. The more we cling to these attachments, the less freedom we have to breathe, create, or experience true liberty. For 5 days, commit to releasing one thing each day that no longer contributes to your flourishing. Perhaps it's a garment you never wear, a social commitment that depletes rather than nourishes you, or a long-held belief that no longer aligns with your authentic self. This practice isn't about loss, it's about liberating yourself. Stoicism teaches that wealth consists not in expanding our possessions, but in contracting our desires. The process of letting go doesn't represent surrender, but rather creates space for what genuinely matters. As the Stoics recognized, our attachment to external things is often the source of our discontent, while our freedom lies in recognizing what truly lies within our control. 9. Simplify your morning. The Stoics valued clarity of thought and intentional living. Complexity breeds confusion and depletes our mental resources. Our modern mornings often begin with a barrage of rushed decisions and digital intrusions that drain our energy reserves before we've properly begun our day. Dedicate 5 days to creating greater simplicity at the day's beginning. Prepare your clothing the evening before. Establish a boundary between yourself and your devices upon waking. Designate specific times for checking emails or messages rather than responding reflexively. Develop routines that minimize decision fatigue and preserve your mental clarity. Simplicity, from a Stoic perspective, doesn't mean diminishing your engagement with life. Rather, it means engaging purposefully with what truly matters. A morning characterized by calm deliberation cultivates a mind equipped for focused attention throughout the day. When you reduce external noise, you create space to hear your inner voice with greater clarity, allowing reason to guide your actions rather than impulse. 10. Watch your emotions without becoming them. The Stoic practice of observing emotions rather than being consumed by them represents one of their most profound psychological insights. When strong emotions arise, we typically don't just experience them, we identify completely with them. In anger, we become wrath personified. In anxiety, we transform into living embodiments of fear. Yet the Stoics taught that you are not your emotions. You are the rational observer witnessing them. For the next 5 days, when a powerful emotion surfaces, pause deliberately. Rather than declaring, "I am angry," reframe it as, "Anger is present." This subtle linguistic shift creates crucial psychological distance. It reminds you that emotions are temporary visitors to your consciousness, not your fundamental identity. Emotions, like ocean waves, inevitably rise and fall. The Stoic approach doesn't demand their suppression, nor does it encourage impulsive expression. It simply asks you to notice them with equanimity. By maintaining presence with your emotional states without attachment, you reclaim your freedom to choose thoughtful responses rather than automatic reactions. This space between stimulus and response is where the Stoic finds true freedom, not in controlling external events, but in governing internal responses. 11. Listen more, speak less. In a world where constant expression is celebrated, where everyone is posting, commenting, debating, and sharing, quiet, attentive listening has become an almost radical act. We live in an age of hypercommunication, yet paradoxically, we've grown distant from the sacred art of truly listening. Over these 5 days, practice deep listening. In every conversation, challenge yourself to speak 50% less than you usually would. Don't prepare your answer while the other person is still speaking. Don't interrupt to insert your point of view. Just be present, fully, with your entire attention, absorbing not only the words but the tone, the silences, the emotions between the lines. Something powerful happens when you truly listen. People feel seen, validated, and understood. Their defenses soften, connections deepen. And you? You gain access to entire inner worlds, perspectives and experiences invisible to those who are merely waiting for their turn to speak. Deep listening is not passive. It's active wisdom. It's the recognition that every person we encounter is a potential teacher, and every conversation is an opportunity to expand. The Stoics understood that wisdom wasn't just found in books or solitude. It lived in the attentive encounter with others. 12. Make conscious decisions. How many of your daily actions are truly conscious choices? If you observe carefully, a startling truth emerges. Most of what we do is automatic, habitual, unconscious. We wake up and grab our phone. We brush our teeth, drive to work, reply to messages, all on autopilot, governed by invisible scripts and default programming. For 5 days, transform at least 3 everyday decisions into acts of conscious freedom. Before acting, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this action aligned with my deepest values? Am I choosing this consciously or simply repeating a pattern? Maybe it's your choice of lunch. Maybe it's how you respond to a frustrating message. Maybe it's what you do with an unexpected hour of free time. The specifics matter less than the presence you bring to them. This deceptively simple practice reveals a profound truth. Freedom is not doing whatever we want. It's consciously wanting what we do. Every small decision made with awareness is a declaration of inner autonomy. It's a reclaiming of your power to choose in a world constantly trying to choose for you. 13. Quiet the mental noise. Noise is not only around us, it's inside us. The modern mind is a battleground of conflicting thoughts, relentless judgment, anxious planning, and endless rumination. This internal noise drains a tremendous amount of psychic energy, leaving us mentally exhausted, even if we've done nothing outwardly strenuous. For the next 5 days, practice the deliberate reduction of inner noise. When you catch your mind judging, yourself, others, situations, pause and simply notice. Judging. Don't criticize the judgment. Don't suppress it. Just acknowledge it with neutral awareness. The same goes for other common mental patterns: worrying about the future, replaying the past, comparing yourself to others, self-criticism. Don't fight them. That only gives them more power. Simply name what is happening, then let it pass like a cloud drifting across the sky. As you silence these automatic thought loops, an inner space opens, wide, calm, full of creative potential. In that space, clarity emerges. Insights rise to the surface. Unexpected solutions appear. And most importantly, a peace that doesn't depend on anything outside of you begins to blossom. 14. Practice active gratitude. The human brain evolved with a negativity bias, a survival mechanism that focused on danger, scarcity, and what could go wrong. While useful in the wild, in the modern world it has become a source of unnecessary suffering, blinding us to the abundance already present in our lives. Gratitude isn't just a pleasant feeling. It's a revolutionary practice that literally rewires the nervous system and transforms our perception of reality. For these 5 days, engage in active gratitude, not as a passive exercise of listing blessings, but as a dynamic way of interacting with your moment-to-moment experience. When something difficult happens, a delay, a rejection, a mistake, ask yourself, what can I appreciate here? What opportunity for growth or learning is hidden in this situation? When something beautiful happens, a kind word, a peaceful walk, a small success, don't rush past it. Stop. Breathe. Let the experience saturate your awareness. Let it fill your body and imprint your memory. This practice doesn't deny difficulty. It elevates your awareness of the full spectrum of life. Active gratitude reveals the richness already present, including the hidden gifts embedded in what first seems unpleasant. 15. Reflect before you sleep. The frantic pace of modern life steals from us one of the most powerful tools for inner growth: reflection. We move from task to task, from day to day, accumulating experiences without integrating them, without extracting their deeper meaning. The Stoics embraced the daily examination of conscience, a deliberate pause at the end of each day to review their actions, words, and choices with compassionate honesty. Not to condemn themselves, but to better understand their own soul and refine their character. For 5 days, spend 10 minutes before bed on this sacred ritual. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where did I act in alignment with my values? Where could I have done better? What lesson can I carry into tomorrow? Writing these reflections amplifies their power. There is something integrative, almost alchemical, in translating lived experience into words. It brings unconscious material into the light, turning vague impressions into clear insights. This nightly practice becomes a daily polishing of the soul, a slow, loving refinement of your intentions and actions, aligning them more and more with your essential nature. As you complete these 15 habits spread across 5 powerful days, remember, this journey is not about perfection. It's not about rigid rules or self-punishment when you inevitably miss a step. It's about presence, the willingness to meet each moment as it is, with awareness, compassion, and clarity. The Stoic path isn't about control, not of the world, nor of yourself in a forceful way. It's about cultivating a more intimate, honest, and loving relationship with your own nature, so that your actions in the world flow from a center of wisdom and virtue. Try these 15 practices for just 5 days and watch carefully. Not only what changes around you, but how your perception of those things begins to shift. How challenges become invitations to grow. How the people who once annoyed you become powerful teachers. How ordinary moments reveal extraordinary beauty when seen with renewed eyes. Never forget the words of the Stoics. It's not things themselves that disturb us, but the opinions we hold about them. In 5 days, you won't change the whole world, but you may change how you experience it. And that, in the end, changes everything. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 15 habits do you feel would create the greatest shift in your life right now? Let me know in the comments below. Let's keep this vital conversation alive about what it truly means to live well in a noisy, restless world. And if this message sparked something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs this wisdom. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join this community of people committed to living stronger, calmer, and more consciously.